It is oh no, he chokes on the first line, folks. That's terrible. And I was trying to be quiet because I'm not sure about my microphone. I'm just going to move it down. Now, I was going to tell you it is officially happy hour, folks. My name is Rob Appell, and I am super excited to see all of you out there for another live video. It's so well, Stitchin Heaven here on YouTube. I know, how often do I start every video saying I'm having microphone problems? Let me just give you my excuse, folks. And you know, if you've taken any of my classes, number one step to any good project is always have your excuses prepared in case things go wrong. So let's talk about real quick what's going on with the microphones. And will you let me know as you're signing in, Carl? I can see that you're out there. Let me know if it's too loud. I can keep moving it down, but I cannot adjust the volume at the moment. I'm using a Bluetooth microphone, not because I want to, but because it's my backup. I've got a really, really nice microphone kit, but the interface somehow has broken down to the iPad, which I use to control the live video show. Remember, folks, I'm doing this all by myself. Even though it's such an impressive and incredibly fun show, you would think there's an entire team like at Disney behind me or in front of me behind you doing the wonderful magic. So again, welcome. I'm super glad you're here. Like I said, let me know as you're signing in who you are, where you're from, and if you'll let me know how the audio's doing. I want to make sure I'm not blowing your ears off, everybody, because I can be such a loud mouth. I know it. I was told that in kindergarten, and it's held true to this day. We've got an exciting show for you, though. We've got tons of stuff I want to talk about, and I really am pumped up about. We're going to do a little showing demo here, and I've got some really, really exciting news to share with everybody. And so if it's all right, I think I'm just going to dive right in because I am also in the middle of a quilt project, and I just got it basted on this table here, cleaned up, put the set together, and then as soon as I have finished my afternoon coffee, which is as soon as I finished up with visiting with all of you folks, I think I'm going to do that free motion on that quilt, and I'm really excited about it, and that'll be part of the big announcements coming up in the future. And I got a sounds okay and a hear and see you perfect, so I will no longer worry. I'm going to move on. Thank you, friends, for being out here to support me and help me. And yes, if you're not already subscribed to Stitchin Heaven's YouTube channel, please do so at the moment. I think we're almost to 47,000 subscribers, and I think that's really exciting. I would really like to see that get to 50,000 before the end of this year. So subscribe. If you're a fan from before when I was doing my other shows and you have friends that used to follow along, please let them know this is where all the content is. I'm doing live videos on Wednesday. So as a matter of fact, we're going to start our announcements. So this Wednesday, 2 days ago, we just did a really cool basics of curved piecing. Yes, you've seen me probably do it before, but I was working on some cool projects coming up that I wanted you to be aware of. So we did a really cool basics of curved piecing video. And at the end of today's video, you can see by the scrap pile here in front of me, we are going to dive deep into what you see on the wall here, which is a really basic foundation project. So that'll be at the end of today's video for our demonstrational process or demonstrational portion of the video. I want to let you know about some really cool other things going on at stitchinheaven.com. We've got a great website, and right now we have our grunge fabric. Everybody loves grunge. It's a great blender. It's a great basic. You can use the back of it, right? It's one of the only prints you can use the back of. Check out that code. Use that code to get $2 off per yard on grunge fabric, which is pretty awesome. And you can get that on our website. Many of you heard we are now carrying the wonderful kangaroo cabinetry and furniture. So kangaroo and Joey combo for just under $2,000, and you get a free $700 kiwi. And that kiwi's that really cool cabinet there. It rolls around with you. It's a great workstation. It doesn't have to be connected to a sewing machine, so that's really terrific. And we're really excited to have the furniture because for years we've been doing really fun. I felt like I just sounded very Canadian. We've been doing and that wasn't meant to be rude to my Canadian friends out there. I was talking to my Canadian friend Brandy yesterday, and I think maybe her influence was still on me there anyways. But I digress. So what was I saying? Oh, cabinetry. Yes, we have. Oh, Brandy. Gosh, I guess I segued perfectly. Brandy has done also a wonderful Special Sew Spaces video here on our YouTube channel. And so we've taken some time to have, we've invited ourselves into some of our friends and designers homes and their studios so we can have them show us what they like and some of their organizational strategies. And Brandy did a great few tips on that anyway. So that's Brandy from Quilter on Fire. But the reason I was talking about that is, yeah, the cabinetry we have is great for building out, whether it's a new or a room you have. Some of you heard that my kids have gone off to college. Well, one lives here, but one has moved off to Portland. And so I have one room we're converting already. And if I didn't have such an incredibly nice sewing room, of course, that would be the first thing I would do with Ruby's room. And we'd maybe get her a tent and a cot for when she comes home, something like that fun. Back into the announcements, folks. If you are not already on our emailing list, please sign up for the email at, W's and all of those things, stitchinheaven.com. And with that, you get a weekly reminder or a couple about the flash sales. These come into your email, and we're constantly adding new product. Folks, this is one of my favorites we've done in a while. So check out the goodies we have just in the first row along here. We have that Olfa cutter. We're going to talk about that in a second. I've got a wonderful 6x12 ruler. You cannot go wrong with those rulers. And then on the bottom row, replacement rotary blades. And you get 5 replacement rotary blades for $13. And like I said, I put out a video recently that talks about all the different rotary blades that are out there. Those are 45 millimeter, our most common size. And if you're doing this, I love this cutter. This is why I wanted to point this out today. I have a lot of these cutters around. I used to have a really cool blue one. So folks, I got it when I started using, when I was quilting when my kids were young, because one, it just automatically is safer, right? Also doing videos, I would forget to close my rotary cutter. That's the number one safety thing is to make sure I'm sorry. I feel like I'm giving you bad information. The number one safety thing is always have a sharp blade. The number 2 safety thing is make sure you're always closing your cutter. So when you're working with your rotary cutter, you want something that when you release it, it automatically closes the blade, which is really cool. I was starting to talk about the fact that it's got this cool little safety. And folks, what I'm doing is I'm pushing that safety and it's pretty firm. I'm not actually locking it open. I'm locking it closed. So I can't squeeze it to get it open right now. And that really helps. You see that? I'm locking it right there closed, and now I cannot open it. And that's what I consider to be the real safe feature, because I can lock it, hang it on a wall and with my kids around. And then if I'm just around the studio, if I ever take my hands off of it, close it. So I love those squeezy handle, squeeze trigger ergonomic cutters from Olfa. Been using them for years. It's my favorite Olfa tool that they've got out there. Like I said, these 6x12 rulers are also fantastic. I use them a lot. They're going to be perfect for today's demo as well. It's one of my easy go-to grab-to kind of rulers. So if you don't have a ruler that is already a 6x12 in size, I strongly recommend you pick up one of those. And so talking about some pretty cool announcements coming up, folks, let's go ahead, get your pens and papers out, get your Google calendars up. Here it is. Save the date. Check this out. October 17th. That's coming up in just a few weeks, 2 p.m. and that's Eastern time. And so that's it's later than it is in California, but that's okay. Check it out. Here's what we're getting at. BenterTex New Worlds fabric. That's the name of the fabric line. There's another fun little picture of it. I'm looking old there in black and white. Kidding. But yeah, October 17th, and I'll be actually online from 5 to 6 p.m. We're doing a virtual fabric show at BenterTex. That's the fabric company that I'm working with to print the New Worlds. You can see the New Worlds right over here. They're beautiful. They will be shipping to the local quilt shops in January of 2024. I've got a ton of projects. So I've got 3 quilts I've been working on over the last 2 weeks. 2 of those quilts are now quilted, ready for binding. The 3rd quilt was the one I was just basting here before I cleaned up to get ready and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm really, really excited, really, really focused on what I've been doing with the New Worlds fabrics. And I can tell you, I'm really not supposed to show you too much, but I can tell you they are working beautiful together. And they're working beautiful with the Superior Solids and the BenterTex Shadow Blush. And they're just wonderful. You see a lot of the scraps here on the table as well. It's just been really, really super cool working with them this last couple of weeks. So I'm sworn to secrecy in a lot of ways, and it's killing me because I want to share with all of you what I've been doing the last few weeks, but I really can't share much because it's been so wrapped up in the New Worlds fabrics. But they are close. We'll be showing more and more of them very, very soon. I'm pretty pumped up about that. Really excited. And we've also got some other fun things coming up. I'm going to go to Texas in about a week or so. I'll be out there the 8th, well, technically the 9th through the 17th. We've got the Outdoor Quilt Show coming up. And then also the New Year's Day Mystery Quilt Along. This is going to be really, really cool. So on Stitchin Heaven's website, stitchinheaven.com, if you go to events, you can check out the Mystery Quilt Along and you can get a quilt kit. But not only that, you can register there for free. You can sign up. You can either be on Team Tiffany or Team Rob. You know whose team I'm going to be on. And what's been really fun is we've come up with 2 different quilt kits. So the quilt kits are mysteries. We're not telling you what the size is or what the patterns are. And I don't know if I can tell you exactly what the fabric styles are yet. So I'll get back to you on that next week. Oh, speaking of which, next week I may not be here. I've got a bunch of really exciting family coming to town, and we've got a couple of things we're doing early Friday morning together, meaning we're moving and unloading a U-Haul truck. But at any rate, and I've been volunteered or voluntold, which is a wonderful term I have learned from Tiffany Hayes. And so at any rate, I'm going to do my best to do something fun for us all Friday afternoon, but I cannot promise I will be live next Friday afternoon, but I will do something exciting. But we were talking about t-shirts. Check them out, folks. You can get your Passion for Precision, a Team Tiffany Hayes t-shirt, or if you're a little bit more of a carefree quilter, you can sign up and you can get yourself pre-order for the Team Rob Appell t-shirt. Really fun. We're having a great time with this, and we're going to be picking our virtual teams and using wonderful kits. And of course, it doesn't really matter. You can get whatever shirt you want, whatever kit you want, and we'll have instructions and cutting info coming up that'll allow you to know in case you want to work out of your stash as well for that super fun New Year's Day. I'm going to keep saying New Year's Day because this year New Year's Eve is on a Sunday. We don't work on Sundays. So on Monday, New Year's Day, we'll all be selling together, hopefully with all of you. So make sure you get signed up. We're starting to fire up the kit cutting engines already to keep up with the demand. So don't wait till the last minute, folks. Make sure you purchase your kits right away, whether you're a Team Tiffany kit or a Team Rob kit. I can promise you, if you get my kit and you don't love the actual fabric choices, I've got a great backup plan. And when you see what those fabrics are, you'll know exactly what I'm getting towards. So anyway, that's a lot of fun coming up. Now, like I was saying, let's talk about what's coming up next week. Wednesday will be the video. I'm calling it Super Easy Foundation Piecing. And it's really cool because we don't even have any paper to get rid of in the background. We're going to be working on fabric. But what it really is a super cool version of our Texas on a string pattern. This is something that Deb came up with, and it's really cool the way it works together. Now, you probably can't see in the picture, but it could also be done for some theme fabrics. And so in the tutorial that comes out next Wednesday, I will walk you through how you can go ahead and use your own fabrics and make some theme fabrics. You can follow along and make the foundation. I will show you some quick tips real quick on that before I let you go this afternoon. But what I want to also point out is I took a few pictures that are here on the design wall. And so by doing that, I was able to create what we call a mock-up. And so this is what my Texas on a string quilt would look like if I were to finish out all my blocks. And so let me just leave this still for a few minutes in case anybody wants to pause on that, in case you want to follow along on the video coming up Wednesday. And then you could go ahead and mix and match your colors so that you know how many you need here. And here's something fun. I'm trying to put all this together to make it really interactive for all of us because I love how great our community is together and how much we support each other and grow together. And so check this out, folks. This is also available as a digital download. That's what I'm trying to say. So you don't have to wait in the mail. You don't have to pay for shipping. You can get this right at stitchinheaven.com. Again, it's called Texas on a String, and it makes for a really, really cool project. And so if you want to have the pattern for Wednesday's video, you can technically purchase it right now and get it and print it out like I've done and follow along. It's a beautiful pattern. It is full color, so it'll take you through, here, give you a couple of examples, and a couple of different layouts in the back, lots of cutting info, all of that kind of stuff. Oh, look, there's a picture of Deb and Clay. That's fun. Any rate, yeah, I really liked the way it came out. And funny enough, I thought I knew exactly what I was doing, and I rushed right into the pattern. And folks, I made a couple of mistakes because I didn't pay attention to the pattern. And yes, I have some beautiful quilt squares on the wall, but they're not exactly what these are supposed to be. So in the video on Wednesday, I will talk you through what pitfalls not to fall in. In a second, we're going to go ahead and just sew these, but I promise those of you who read the description of the live videos some amazing nature photos. So let's get into that real quick before we go any further. This is what happened this week. My neighbors have, we have quail on our street. So my neighbors have erected a golden quail statue over their mail receptacle and postal receptacle. I mean, what are these words anymore? So at any rate, we have quail. And so I thought it'd be so wonderful if I could capture the quail coming to idolize their golden quail there. And it was a really hard shot to get. I have not gotten it yet. I have tried day after day when they come out. I think it'd be wonderful to get a whole patch of quail. Here's another decent one, but you can see there's a lot of background. And then usually when I finally get the quail to look at the darn statue, I don't somehow get it in focus. So I thought that was pretty fun and entertaining. And even though I was having a bad time with my fun quail photos there this week, I also had some bad video turn out pretty good. So check out this fun little Gumballs ad that came out or will be coming out. And as you can see in the quilts behind me, the block construction is really simple, but it gives you that really fun, colorful scramble look, like a big jar full of gumballs, right? That's where the quilts get their names. And of course, we like to put them together in different colorways. So there is a pink and a green and a purple and an orange. And like I said, there's that awesome patriotic as well. So if you're looking for a real fun, super simple, easy, and already cut for you kit, check out the gumballs at Stitchin Heaven. Kind of knew that was going to happen. So not every bad photo or bad video, I guess, is unusable, right? So can have some fun. Also gave me a moment to catch up on some of the comments while you were all watching that. Great to see Carl and ACJ are out there. I just love the fact that we do have this wonderful community starting to build up. And you are all encouraging and supporting each other. I see Carl signed up for the New Year's Sew Along. I see a lot of you are coming in from all kinds of different places around the United States. That's fantastic. Let's see if we've got anybody coming in. I see Canada. So if you're offended by the Canadian statement earlier, I apologize. Come on back. Anyways, just trying to be fun. And at any rate, okay, folks, so let's see here. Let me make sure I've checked all my notes, my digital process here. I'll come back to questions. The reason I showed the gumball video is this is a quilt kit. I have in today's video in the description below the link to the video. Here on YouTube, I have a very nice recorded tutorial. You have just a day or so left to possibly win this quilt kit from me. It is partially assembled because that's what I was using it on the video for. All you have to do is comment blueberry for the win, and you can possibly receive this quilt kit. And then following up next month, you have all month still for the different opinions quilt kit. And funny enough, you know I'm a bit of a copy paster and I missed it. And so you do not actually have to comment blueberry for the win on this video. Simply win will do it. But what was great, folks, is it gave us an accidental case study to see how many of you actually feed and read our comments, which is great, or read the descriptions below and are using those links that we're building for you. And I really appreciate that because many of you actually commented blueberry for the win because it's what I'd asked you to do in the description. And so either way, blueberry for the win or win on different opinions, blueberry for the win on the other Gumballs quilt kit. Great quilt kits. And now let's go ahead and dive into today's lesson. Let me get my cameras ready, rocking and rolling. Texas on a String is a very fun, like I said, foundation piece. And we basically make some different squares where we're going to have some, what in the pattern calls for dark and or light. Or we're also going to make some of our squares which use all of our light and just kind of a slower gradient outward here. So on the design wall, these are the ones that are referred to as the lights. There again, that's that center bright yellows and then moving. I took mine one side to kind of a greener family, more of a blue or turquoise family on the other side of my light squares. Then on the dark squares, I went ahead and used, I'm sorry, I'm yelling again. On the dark squares, I went ahead and used one side of my warm colors and then the yellow, other side splitting with my yellows and leaning quickly into green and then blue. And so we'll go ahead and build one of those today, mostly because that's the scraps I have left. You can see here, I like the look of this one. One of the funny things I did make the mistake on in the video originally, I was going so quick in making my samples, you may notice that not all of my seams match up perfect. And that's because one of my scraps in my pile was actually not a true cut at the right size. These happen to be 1.5 inches. I let a 1-inch sneak in there and I didn't realize it until it was too late. And of course I didn't want to use my seam ripper to fix it. So I ended up with some wonky mismatched seams, which is certainly not going to ruin the project. I believe that would be called modern quilting if it, right? Yeah, it's funny. I got it built in a little, hi-hat or some audio laughter there. But yeah, basically, if your seams don't match up or it gets wonky, or this technique is great for foundation where you are sewing on the bias and you're sewing a lot of different angles together because it is going to stabilize the block. And as a foundation, it's not paper, it's fabric. And so we're not going to have to tear it out. We don't have that step. We don't have that potential abuse on the thread and the seam. It will definitely still quilt proper, no problem. If you're concerned about free motion quilting, I have a whole section of quilting information here. We're starting to put together playlists on our YouTube channel to help you stay organized and find the stuff you're looking for more quickly. So your first step will be to take one of your squares, and then you're going to want to go ahead and draw yourself a straight line from corner to corner. So when I did that, I made my chalk or my pencil line a little thick, and then I moved over a full 1/4 inch and I made another thick pencil line. What we're really going for is a seam that goes edge to edge, point to point, right across the middle there. Maybe that looks a little bit better. So what happens is if your lines get too thick or you're not paying much attention, you might accidentally get off of that center seam, and that's what causes those seams to not line up. Now, for something like this, we're just going to sew a few on to show you how it keeps working. Like I said, the video will be out here on Wednesday if you need a little bit more info on this. You're going to want to make sure you have your strips set so that they're going to match up. Even with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, friends, and as badly as I want to use that piece, I'm just afraid that that's not going to be doable, especially because of that crazy little selvage in there. So don't cut it close. You're going to want to have a lot of scrap running past each of your edges of your background fabric. So let's go ahead and not use that little yellow guy, and we're just going to go right to this one here. You can see it's considerably longer, but I do like to use that scrap in. Oh, somebody's calling me on the phone that we're looking at. That's no good. Let's go to this phone. Wouldn't you know it? Okay, so we're just going to go right sides together real quick. And I'm overlapping here past so that when I fold over, and then I'm going to go to the sewing machine. And while I'm at the sewing machine, let's turn on that camera for you folks. While I'm at the sewing machine, I'm going to also, this was the other thing, is I was sewing on the edge of my foot, which happens to be a scant 1/4 inch, and therefore my seams again didn't match up. I'm going to use the eye back there, use my eyes here, and now with all 3 layers, I'm going to go ahead and sew what is a 1/4 inch seam allowance, joining the polka dot fabric to the solid yellow fabric and the background foundation. Cut your threads. And what I like to do, oh, let's heat up the iron. What I like to do before I go too much further is I'm going to do what I'm calling the rough cut. I'm cutting it long past both sides there, and then I'll return. I was using warm and cool or dark and light color piles. We're going to have to wait for the iron here for a second. So let's go ahead and check some comments. No, yes, I did not. Yes, ACJ, I did not want to get out Jack the Ripper. Thank you, Amber. Blueberry for the win. I'm so sorry, love. I meant to say you have to comment that on the other videos. So the actual tutorial videos, comment, go over and watch those videos and comment there, Blueberry for the win, and that's how you win the quilt kit. Sorry, I wasn't being real clear, was I? I was real excited there. All right. Okay. Oh, look at all of you guys saying Blueberry for the win. Okay, team. Sorry. I misspoke. I got excited. You would need to comment on the videos. That's where I'll go in and I'll take all of those comments and put them in the the random comment generator applicator. And we'll make sure we pick a random winner for all of you. And then we ship you out the quilt and all of that. Oh, excuse me, the quilt kit, not the quilt, the quilt kit. Guess it's almost that coffee time, isn't it, folks? All right. So let's go ahead and move through here real fast so you get a feel for this in case you want to get started this weekend without me. Okay, now you can see that these pieces are very long. We still have access to the cell phone that was ringing a moment ago. Excellent. And so we see that those pieces are long, no problem. Again, I'm going to go ahead and just whittle those down now so it helps me stay on target, but I'm not going to trim all the way back to the square edges yet. That way, and I will tell you, I had some shrinkage around the square, kind of drew up a little bit, and I went ahead and split the difference and trimmed it back to the square 8.5, I think is what we're looking for. Yeah, 8.5 is what I was looking for in the video, and right now it's running that way, but once I get enough seams through here, it might shrink up just a little bit. I also prefer to work from one side or one color band completely and then finish out with the other. So now let's go ahead and keep building. I'm going to go ahead and add in a green. Sewing off of the edge there. So that also kind of works like your little bunny tail. Helps you get started before you're in your actual patchwork. Okay. Again, do yourself a little trimmity trim there. And then you can go ahead and press. So I want to transition now maybe into more of the blue. And then at the end, that little strip right there is going to fit over there and cover there. The pattern also calls for theme fabric. And so that the theme fabric here is a bigger strip. That was something that I also missed in the instructions. So that big theme fabric strip could also be fit in there. And that can come together really nice. And those theme fabrics can be set to match up in that section right there within our Texas on a String pattern. So then again, I'm just going to go ahead, and this looks like a brand new strip, so I'm going to start over here on the edge. But again, folks, just cautioning you not to start too close on that corner, right? Because things could go poorly when you fold it open. So I'm just going to start down a little ways, kind of coming over to the machine. Watch this trick. I know that my strip's long, but I can see where that square starts. So I'm just going to start right with the tippy toe basically on the square. See that? I don't need to add extra thread. Then I can just go ahead and stitch that through. Just like yay. A really fun process. And I'm using mine right now to keep my fabrics nice and square and straight. Really nice and easy as I'm doing this. Okay. But you could also utilize this technique, like I was saying earlier, to make some free piece blocks, some more wonky, random, organic-looking shapes. That was when I was making the joke about calling it modern quilting, or not joking. No. So at any rate, trimming that down. So makes for very, very crisp. If you wanted to do something different, all you would simply do then is take your. Let's do this so you can tell what I'm talking about. Here, this will make sense. It's the wrong color, but it'll make sense. So you can see right sides together. Let's go to the top cam. So then what I would do is, instead of sewing it on straight like this, well, I would just put it at a bit of an angle. Okay. And then I would run my 1/4 inch along this edge, and I would fold it open, and that would start to give me these really fun shifted angle cuts. And if you start to shift them in different angles, it becomes very interesting very quickly, adding a lot of character. So I think that might be something very fun to do, is a free piece foundation style project for you. They turn out beautiful. I've done a couple with log cabins in the past. I've done a few just random looking blocks. Excuse me. I feel like I've got a frog coming on in my throat. So you can just do some really beautiful things. Let's do one more piece here. I want to point out one last little technical thing here for us all as we're wrapping it up today. So go ahead and please get your questions in now as we're going to call it a day here in about 5 minutes or so. And if you have any comments or questions, anything I can answer for you, any questions from the last few weeks on videos, anything you need to know, type them into the comments. Wanted to talk about this little corner right here. So after pressing all of those using my correct strips and everything, I'm still shy. And if I put my ruler up there, it's a 1/2 of an inch or greater. So yes, you are going to want to put something there, but you really could just grab a scrap from just about anything as you kept building up your blocks, because it's not going to really show that much. But you could also see why using that wider 2.5 inch strip right there would cover that up so nicely at the end and make it so you don't have any problems. And so when you're looking at the pattern, this is why I got going too fast. And what I didn't realize, you see how you can get these wonderful blocks going like this. Well, those black and or white diamonds represent your theme fabrics. And I got going so quickly in there that I forgot to look at this diagram here. And this shows that we're creating A blocks, B blocks, C blocks, and D blocks. And those C blocks and those D blocks I completely missed that had those 2.5 inch strips. And that was simply because I got so excited about making the quilt that I didn't read to page 2. I figured, I got this, I know what's going on. And yes, I came up with some nice blocks, but I did not actually come up with the cool Texas on the string pattern. But it's available for all of you. I've got a follow-up video to teach you how to do it, nice and recorded if I was going too fast, or the live video sometimes is awkward, or I'm yelling into the microphone or whatnot. Let me go ahead and answer some questions. Okay, first one I see here is from Connie. Connie, are the strips cut on the bias? No, love, they were just regular 1.5 inch by the width of the fabric. But if you were using bias strips, it would be all the better to use the foundation background like this, because those bias strips are going to tweak. And if you're newer to sewing or quilting, the skinnier the fabric or the bias being cut off a grain, it's going to make things really shift a lot more. So all the better. If you're burning through scrap piles and you don't know where the straight of grain is, definitely use foundation squares to build up your pieces no matter what kind of blocks you're building, because it will really help stabilize. And it really gives a nice, heavier, thicker feel to the quilting without being a problem in the quilting. So I like that. So Jenny, ACJ, you are correct. No, I just want the coffee. Thanks, Jen. I'm going to forget the tea there. Blueberry for the win. Folks, please, you're killing me here. Just being fun. It is super fun project. I love it. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And for those of you who are concerned, it's only about 2:30 out here for that. So it's not too late for an afternoon coffee, I don't believe. Who was working on Cosmic Charlie? Oh, that's Carl. Real fun. I got to teach at the local quilt guild this last weekend, and we were doing Super 60 Sampler, and several folks then got the Cosmic Charlie or the Dupree's Diamond. If you're not aware, those are fun patterns that I've created using a template set. And again, it's like I was starting to say at the beginning of the video with the new fabrics coming out, it's always really inspiring when I've got a new tool or a new treasure or something like that to play with a bunch, and then you get to see a bunch of projects and products that come out from that. So it's real exciting. So yes, please stay tuned. I've got some really cool things coming out if you like rainbows of fabric, that's for sure. Okay, everyone's waving and saying hello. I appreciate that. There's a lot of blueberry for the wins. Folks, you're going to have to go back and do it on the other videos. I'm so sorry I misspoke. And I'm so glad you're all here. I saw in Oklahoma. Awesome. Let's see what I missed now at the bottom. You're all typing so fast. Perfect. Okay, gang. Well, I'm going to log off. I really appreciate you staying a little late with me here today. Don't forget to watch the wonderful recorded tutorial that comes out on Wednesday. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. Please sign up for our email at stitchinheaven.com so that you're getting the wonderful flash sales, and we will see you signing up for your New Year's. I cannot influence you. I'm not allowed to tell you that the Team Rob is only ahead by a few teammates, folks, but you know, the bigger the team, the better the chance we have of winning, even though it's not a contest. So I would love for you all to sign up, be Team Rob with me. I've actually got to get my t-shirts on order. I'm going to show up in a Team Tiffany shirt, though. I think that'd be pretty funny. Anyways, again, I love you folks. Thanks for being here.